Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thank you for joining me for the Cancer April horoscope. Okay, so it's a big, wonderful month this month. Depending on where you are in the world, you're probably going to get 2 new moons this month, which is all about starting up new beginnings. If you are west of Salt Lake City in Utah, well, you had yours on the 31st of March, so it's not technically a new moon, black moon this month. It's also a solar eclipse as well as that. There are wonderful things happening with Jupiter, Neptune and Pluto, which is really going to give us all a bit of a spiritual boost this month as well. Okay, just to briefly explain, I like to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. We'll have a look at your horoscope in depth. I won't be doing the psychic channeling only because these videos are getting bigger than Ben-Hur, and I want to sort of limit them so that they're not over 20 minutes if possible. Okay, so if you are new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, so let's go to the board, and here's your horoscope. Firstly, we're going to draw these 2 cards, and then we'll have a look at the horoscope. Okay, so I just have to be a bit careful here. I've already pre-shuffled them. All right, so Cancer. Closing my eyes now, I see a ladder in front of me. It's going up the wall. It's a bit like a dungeon actually. It's like got stone walls. They're quite damp, and maybe you might have been feeling out of sorts or not feeling very well physically. Maybe some virus or something with the cold, a cold or something like that. There seems to be a bit of congestion there for some people. What I'm seeing, and I'm seeing your zodiac wheel moving and turning, which it does. It just says everything's moving forward, basically. I feel like you're coming out of a difficult situation, or a situation where physically you haven't felt that well, that there's a large group of people in that category. The card that comes up is the 8 of Swords. Okay, so yeah, this does explain it, because there's been like some sort of limitation or restriction around you with this card, and it could be sometimes authority figures holding you back in some way, and you feel that it's difficult to free yourself from some sort of restraint. Okay, it's interesting because here in your 10th house is where Chiron is in Aries, and there's some sort of healing going on. This house is associated with authority figures, particularly your mother. But in the vision, what I saw you coming out of that situation, so a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. So even though this might be going on, it's not going to be going on forever. And there's movement there. Spirit just wants to tell you that things are changing and transforming. So even if you feel like that, it's like it's coming up for you to look at it, and it's being transformed. Okay, so let's look at the second card, the second half of the month for you, caring Cancerians, and it's time to care about yourself, perhaps. I'm going to go with that one under there. Close my eyes. What do I see? Something about gold rings. Rings are always a sense of completion or union, coming to terms with a situation. Because it's gold, it's a masculine energy, so there could be a male involved that may have been restricting you or holding you back in some way. The card that comes up is Temperance. This is all about balance. It's not necessarily about leaving a relationship, although that could happen, but it's about finding balance in yourself and the union of the opposites. So it's like you're going to, sometimes a pendulum, it swings one way and then it swings the other way, but eventually you get there. There's some action to be taken too, because of all this red in the background. It really is a time of contemplation and patience now, but through that contemplation you will receive some clarity, and you'll understand the nature of the opposites, and you'll be able to bring heaven down to earth with the energies of this card. So yeah, while it takes a bit of time and it's not always easy, it's worth it in the end. And so regardless of your situation, do know that angels are working with you full time on this situation. All right, let's have a look at your horoscope now. I'm just going to make that a bit bigger. Bear these cards in mind because they probably have some sort of relevance to what's happening in your life and in your horoscope, okay? This is known as a public chart because all of the activity is up here. This is actually, I know it's counterintuitive, this is actually the southern hemisphere. So if you're in Australia and New Zealand, you might feel this more strongly perhaps, but it's known as the public area, and so things that you do are more likely to involve the public, and they're more likely to see more of you, even if you don't want them to. So the two new moons, which is on the second one's on the 31st of March or the 1st of April. Sorry, that's wrong. This is the first new moon. The second one's at the end of April. Okay, so it's in your 10th house, the new moon here, and it's with Chiron, the Sun, and Mercury. So there could be concerns about your career, your work, your long-range goals and life direction, your reputation, your public image, and maybe, your professional work. If you're not doing professional work, you might feel like that you're wasting your time in some sort of job. You might be thinking now about leaving so that you can go to something that makes your heart sing. Whatever you do now tends to be more public and more available for the world to see, and people will, see more of you whether you want them to or not, basically. The 4th of April to the 2nd of May sees Venus move into your 9th house here. This is great for broadening your life. It could be through spirituality, philosophy, education. Maybe you think about doing a course. It's great with Venus, it's great for culture, events, festivals, art, and you'll be drawn to unusual experiences. The exotic and the unknown have much more appeal to you than the familiar. It's a great time for a vacation, particularly if you can go somewhere that you've never been before. And sharing and comparing your spiritual or philosophical interests with friends and loved ones may open up a whole new dimension of your relationship. The 6th of April to the 15th of April, Jupiter conjuncts Neptune. This is fabulous because it really sparks your imagination, and the exotic, the mystical and the fantastic are really appealing to you now. The only sort of downside is you could feel a bit bored if you got a mundane sort of daily routine. So it's like the energy's sort of calling you to do something a bit more exciting. Maybe go to an exotic restaurant or a restaurant from another country, try some different foods and that sort of thing. You're more likely to be in touch with spiritual forces, and it's a fabulous time to attend spiritual and religious festivals and to read inspirational books. It's time to, let your imagination fly and really aspire to something greater so that you can grow your life, basically. Mercury moves into your 11th house from the 10th of April to the 29th of April. I'll just put it in there. Of course, it would go in here first, but there's no room on my diagram. So this is fabulous for communications with clubs or organisations, any sort of group basically, and the sense of community is more important to you now. So it's like you want to take part That could be in your local community or even something online. But socialising and talking with other people that you have common interests with is highlighted. The 13th of April to the 24th of May, Mars moves into your 9th house. I've just put it there. It moves in there. And this is really good for giving you a lot of ambition and energy to grow your life. It could be also, do watch the downside, of course, is sometimes you can get very single-minded with this and get a bit fanatical on a point, so watch that. It's like you want to, fight for a cause you believe in, perhaps. Yeah, just tone it back a bit. And it could be, too, that you attract other people. If you're not doing it yourself, you could attract other people that are like that, very dogmatic in their beliefs and trying to push them down your throat. That's probably not a good idea. You might be interested in travel and you're just full of energy to go and do something physical, perhaps. Even if you can do something that's mentally challenging, that would be a good use of this energy. Just watch if you don't do anything dangerous, because sometimes Mars wants to take risks, so just watch that. 13th of April to the 16th of April, Mars trines your ascendant. It's very easy for you to be sort of more bold than usual. People think you're quite confident. You're probably not looking for external approval. That's a good thing. And you could attempt something that you didn't have the courage to try before, but now you're ready. You probably feel like you've got more energy and more vitality, and I just think it's a great idea to go for a walk in the morning to take the edge off that Mars energy. The 16th of April sees a full moon in your 5th house here, which means it's time to come out of your shell, express your real feelings and desires. Things can come up from your subconscious affecting romance or creativity. Maybe you live closer to the world of the child now. You might have more to do with children. And sports, games, entertainment and creativity is sort of a focus during this time. The 18th of April to the 20th of May sees the sun move into your 11th house here. This brings a lot of insight and awareness around involvement with other groups, maybe clubs or organisations. You could even be, with all this activity here, you could even be asked to take some sort of leadership role or to contribute more to a group. And you'll probably enjoy this. Being part of a community and building your social network seems more important now. Then we have the 28th of April to the 22nd of May. Mercury moves into your 12th house here. This is a fabulous time for quiet study and self-reflection. It's also great for your intuition. You're more likely to be quite sensitive, especially around your dreams. You'll remember your dreams more and pick up what they're trying to tell you. Perhaps you don't want to speak out at this time. You sort of sit back and wait and sort of think about something before you come out and say it, which is fine. The 30th of April sees a new moon, partial solar eclipse, and a black moon because it's the second new moon of the month in most of the world. And this is in your 11th house. So there's new beginnings around your community, around your connections. You might meet some new friends. And it's also the house of hopes and dreams, and so you might find yourself filled with sort of excitement or exhilaration around your hopes and dreams. Uranus is here too, and the moon and the sun are probably going to conjunct Uranus at some point, and it could be that something very unexpected happens, but it's likely to be positive. And there's a lot of communications there as well with Mercury. So yeah, this is quite a big month, and a lot of positive things can happen. Okay, so we've got Mars conjuncting your MC from the 28th to the 1st of May, giving you a strong desire for leadership, giving you ambition, a strong desire for personal recognition, and you want to have control over your own life, basically. You could be feeling more competitive, and you want to present your points of view. Just be careful you do it in a sort of moderate, balanced way, which is where this card comes in. It's important, not to sort of get too fanatical about whatever point it is you're trying to make. So with Mars conjuncting your MC, sometimes you can feel quite irritable and impatient as well. 30th of April to the 3rd of May, Mars sextiles Uranus. This is fabulous because it brings excitement into your life, and you want to do something unusual and out of the ordinary. You're likely to have a lot of energy, and sports might appeal to you more. And there's a lot of spontaneity and some crazy ideas that you might have at this time. But you know what? I reckon you should go and do them, because you won't know if you don't try. And because it's Mars sextiling Uranus, it's an easy flowing energy, so it's quite likely to turn out positive for you. The 27th of April until the 7th of May, Jupiter sextiles Pluto. This is fabulous, especially if you're dealing with businesses, government agencies. If you're in Australia, for example, Centrelink, there's an election coming up, so we might find that the government is handing out money to buy votes. And so you could get, a bonus. Just happens like that. Jupiter sextiling Pluto. Influential people can help you now. You might find there's a lot of cooperation and support from authorities coming your way, and you could also be called upon to be the representative of an organisation or assume a leadership role. If that's the case, it's likely to work out very successfully for you in the end. Okay, so this is your horoscope, dear Cancer, and although you may start the month off feeling a bit under the weather or a bit restricted, somehow a male person may be involved, you finish up with some balance in your life, and there's a lot of good opportunities coming to you. Alrighty, so I hope this is useful for you. Do let me know in the comments, and just want to wish you all a fabulous month. If you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Have a wonderful month, everybody, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks again, and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.